Fake HOA agents rammed my factory. My dad crushed their SUV in front of them. The sun beat down on our family's factory, a hulking relic of steel and sweat that had stood in Karenwood for 3 generations. It was our legacy, built by my great-grandfather's calloused hands, sustained by my dad, Tom, who poured his soul into every weld and bolt. I'm Lila, 17, and I'd spent my summers hauling scrap and learning the trade, my hands stained with grease and pride. But that summer, everything changed when the Karenwood HOA, a self-appointed gang of clipboard-wielding tyrants, decided our factory was an eyesore on their pristine suburban vision. They weren't even a real HOA, just a clique of power-hungry locals masquerading as authority, led by Monica, a woman with a smile sharper than a switchblade. It started with letters, polite at first, demanding we beautify the factory or face fines we couldn't afford. Dad laughed them off, tossing the papers into the furnace. "This place employs half the town," he'd say. "They've got no claim." But the letters turned to threats, then visits. Monica and her goons, 2 smug suits named Greg and Carl, showed up daily, citing fake bylaws, snapping photos, and harassing our workers. They claimed we violated zoning codes, but their documents were flimsy, forged nonsense. Dad hired a lawyer, but the legal fees bled us dry. The tension boiled over one August morning. I was stacking crates when Monica's SUV screeched into our lot, kicking up gravel. She stepped out, her heels clicking like a predator's claws, flanked by Greg and Carl, who carried a new notice: eviction. "You're done, Tom," Monica sneered. "This dump's coming down." Dad's face darkened, his jaw tight as iron. "You're no HOA, you're con artists," he spat. Monica laughed, cold and cruel, and that's when I saw a flicker of fear in her eyes. She wasn't untouchable. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Old Man Jenkins, our quiet night shift janitor, shuffled forward from the factory's shadows. He'd been invisible to us, just a kind old guy who mopped floors and shared stories of his Navy days. But now he held a worn leather journal. "I've been watching," Jenkins said, his voice steady. "These folks? They've been extorting businesses across 3 counties. I've got names, dates, bank transfers." He'd been documenting their scam for months, piecing together their fraud like a detective. Monica's face paled, her confidence cracking like cheap glass. Dad seized the moment. "You want a fight? You got one." He climbed into the crane, its engine roaring to life. I screamed for him to stop, but his eyes were wild, consumed by years of pent-up rage. The crane's claw swung high, gripping a massive steel beam. Monica and her goons froze as Dad bellowed, "Get off my land!" The beam dropped, crashing onto their SUV with a deafening crunch, metal twisting like paper. Dust choked the air, and for a moment, silence gripped us all. Monica lunged at Dad, shrieking about lawsuits, but Jenkins held up his journal, his voice cutting through her venom. "You're done, lady. This goes to the sheriff." Greg and Carl bolted, abandoning Monica, who stood trembling, her empire crumbling. I grabbed Dad's arm, my heart pounding. "You could have killed them," I whispered. He looked at me, his eyes softening with regret. "I just wanted to protect you, Lila." The sheriff arrived, thanks to Jenkins' call. Monica was cuffed, her scam exposed, but the victory felt hollow. The factory was safe for now, but Dad faced charges for property damage. Our workers, loyal but shaken, started whispering about finding new jobs. That night, Dad sat me down, his hands trembling. "I thought crushing their car would feel good," he admitted. "But it just made things worse." I hugged him, tears stinging my eyes, knowing our fight had saved the factory, but fractured something deeper, our sense of right and wrong. Jenkins became the town's unsung hero, his journal sparking investigations that toppled the fake HOA's network. But the cost lingered. Dad's court date loomed, and the factory's future hung by a thread. I walked the lot at dusk, staring at the crumpled SUV still parked like a scar on our land. We'd won, but at what price? The community was split. Some called Dad a hero, others a reckless fool. I didn't know what to believe anymore. The bitter truth hit me hardest. Fighting fire with fire leaves everyone burned. Dad's rage had saved our legacy but cost us peace. I wondered if we could have exposed Monica without the crane, without the chaos. Maybe Jenkins' evidence was enough. Maybe we'd lost more than we gained. What do you think was Dad's stand against the fake HOA justice? Or did his actions cross a line? Share your thoughts on where righteousness ends and recklessness begins.